It was 2 in the morning when I saw the messages on my boyfriend's phone. Nobody else even comes close to you, babe. Just say the word, and I'll be there for you. So romantic, right? Except they weren't for me. My hand trembled, dropping the phone to the floor. Tears welled up, hot and heavy. 2 little texts, sitting there on the screen with no reply, mocking me. Look at you, they seemed to say. The guy you're head over heels for is just some other chick's simp. I'd been crushing on Ethan for what felt like forever, and all that time, he'd been obsessed with Chloe. But I never thought that, barely a month before we were supposed to get engaged, he'd be telling Chloe that I was just a second choice. Ethan was passed out on the bed, completely wasted, smelling like cheap beer. A sudden wave of disillusionment washed over me. I'd been chasing after him for 6 years. The only reason Ethan even ended up with me was because, like, the 10th time, Chloe, the school's golden girl, had politely but firmly turned him down. He was drowning his sorrows by the lake on campus, and he called me, asking me to come keep him company. At midnight, I'd sneaked out of my dorm, scraping my knee when I tripped in the dark. When I finally limped over to the lake, a drunk Ethan pulled me into a hug, his voice husky. Sarah, let's do this. Let's be a thing. I swear I'll treat you right. My heart skipped a beat, and I nodded hard. Deep down, I knew Ethan wasn't into me. But I kept telling myself if I just tried harder, he'd finally see me. That one day, he'd actually love me. After college, Chloe and I both landed jobs at this big tech company. Ethan didn't get an offer, and ended up at some small startup. His salary wasn't great. So for the past couple years, I was the one footing the bill for our apartment and groceries. But even then, my hands shook as I picked up the phone, scrolling through his messages. He was sending Chloe gift cards and Venmo transfers for like every holiday, even buying her some expensive gifts. The most expensive thing he ever got me was this, like, $10 knockoff Pikachu plushie. Right then and there, it hit me. No matter how hard I tried, I could never take Chloe's place in his heart. I spent the whole night going through the messages, barely blinking. The next morning, after Ethan left for work, I called in sick and packed up all my stuff. I hired movers to take it all over to my bestie, Ashley's place. Then I texted Ethan, we're done. He texted back 2 hours later, stop messing around. I moved my stuff out. You're paying rent by yourself next month. The little typing bubble popped up for a minute, then he replied with some sarcastic line, whatever. He was so sure that, like always, I'd be the one to cave and beg him to take me back. Ashley helped me unpack, looking skeptical. Sarah, are you really, for real, done with him? I just nodded. Leaving him behind wasn't as hard as I expected. But weren't you just saying that you guys were gonna meet each other's families and get engaged next month? I paused a moment, then said quietly, I talked to my mom. She's on my side, thinks it's for the best. Everyone knew how hard I'd been trying to get Ethan to notice me. Even my mom knew how pathetic I'd become. When I told her I was done, her reaction was actually kinda shocking. She said, good for you, honey. I've been waiting for you to get some sense. When we graduated from college, I turned down an interview with a major company, just so I could get a job with him at the same company, but he couldn't even pass the interview. At first, he would pick me up from work every day, and I was like, so touched. Then one day, I was running late and saw him talking to Chloe. His behavior around her was so careful, while Chloe seemed so cold. Made me think of how I act around him. I just ran off. I guess that annoyed Chloe, 'cause when he got home, Ethan was so pissed. I waited for you to pick you up, but you bailed on me, made me wait there so long. I didn't say much. I finally croaked out, don't worry about picking me up anymore. He never did again. One night, I was working late, and there was a thunderstorm. Ride-sharing apps were showing insane wait times. I called Ethan, but he didn't pick up. So I just went back to my desk and slept on it. The next morning, as I was buying coffee, I saw Ethan's car. He was dropping off Chloe. Stuff like that happened a lot, and I started ignoring it, pretending it was all fine. But all the hurt and pain that I had been stacking up were finally crushing my feelings for him. His saying I was his second best was the final straw. That night at Ashley's, I slept like a baby. I guess I was exhausted from the move. The next day at work, my boss told me I was being put on this big new project. The clients would be coming over to review our proposal. I spent the whole morning at my desk tweaking the plans. Then, right before the meeting, I went to the bathroom. There was Chloe, meticulously touching up her makeup in the mirror, not even sneering at me like usual. I was wondering what was up with her. Then I walked into the conference room and locked eyes with this dude with this calm smile and the most handsome face. Hey, everyone. I'm Justin, the lead on this project from Springdale. Looking forward to working with you all. When I was presenting, his eyes were fixed on me, like he was actually interested. After I was done, I snuck a look over at Chloe. She was just staring at Justin, like totally smitten. After the meeting, she rushed after Justin and yelled, "Justin, wait up." Justin stopped, said something to her, his expression still calm. It clicked. That was why she'd been playing hard to get with Ethan. She had a thing for someone else. A crazy idea hit me. I was gonna hook up with Justin, the guy Chloe was drooling over. After work, I found Justin in the project group chat. 5 minutes later, he accepted my friend request. I texted him, sounding very professional. "Hey, Justin, I had a few questions about the feedback from the meeting. You got a minute?" He paused for a bit, then said, "Actually, I'm about to grab some dinner. Want to join me?" My treat. I immediately called for a ride to the restaurant Justin had mentioned. It was this cool little Sichuan place by the office. Justin had already made a reservation and came to the door to get me. Once we sat down, he slid the menu over. "Take a look, see what looks good." That kind of consideration was something I never got from Ethan. Ethan hated spicy food. After we started dating, I stopped eating the Sichuan food I loved. Whenever we'd go out, I'd pick a place he liked, wait in line, order his favorite dishes, and then he'd stroll in, toss a soda in front of me without asking if I wanted it. He never knew I didn't even like soda. Chloe loved soda. While we waited for our food, I pulled out my laptop and went over the key points we needed to address from the meeting with Justin. He smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Yeah, that's perfect. Don't stress it. I was very impressed with your proposal." I nodded, put the laptop away, and, using all my acting skills, asked, "So, Justin, you go to state, right?" "Yeah, engineering. Probably a few years ahead of you." My eyebrows went up. "No way, you were in the same department?" He nodded, his smile bright and warm. That made things so much easier. We went from complaining about the required freshman orientation to talking about the new swimming center and the upcoming alumni reunion in a couple of months. If work is slow, I'm definitely gonna go back for that. Before I could finish, Justin jumped in. "We should go together." I didn't think my plan to get closer to him would go so well. Talking to him was so refreshing and easy, not like when I was around Ethan, always having to pay attention to his face, figure out what he was thinking, and walk on eggshells. After dinner, Justin drove me home. As I buckled my seatbelt, I said, a little awkwardly, "You're a client, you shouldn't have to pick me up, so thanks for dinner." Dinner was just for business. As for the drive, he paused, smiling, "I'm just giving a lift to a fellow alumnus. We're not just coworkers." That put us on a different level. After that, I had to go to Justin's office for updates on the project. Sometimes I'd stay late, and he'd give me a ride home. My new apartment was in the same complex as Ashley's. She asked me, "Who's this hot guy giving you rides home every day, girl? New boo?" "He's a client." I'll admit, at first, my wanting to get with Justin was partly about sticking it to Chloe and Ethan. But the more time I spent with him, the more I realized what a thoughtful person he was. He paid attention to what I liked, and knew I loved spicy food and hated cilantro, so he always avoided them when we ordered. He knew I loved my coffee black, no sugar, no cream, and he'd make a cup for me every time I came to his office. One night, I posted a sad song on my Instagram story, and like 5 minutes later, Justin texted, so kind and patient, and talked to me until the wee hours of the morning. The more I spent time with him, the more I realized that my years chasing Ethan felt like a bad dream. And I noticed I was slowly losing all feelings for him. One day, when I was on my way out, someone from marketing called in sick, so my boss put Chloe on the road with me. After I'd spent all night tweaking the code, Chloe just took the credit. "Justin, this is the latest version, and it's ready to go, and Sarah and I worked on it together." I froze and slid my laptop across the table. "I need to go to the bathroom, so Chloe will give you the run-through of the mid-cycle optimization." Before Chloe could react, I got up and left. Chloe followed me, saying, "Sarah, you're being so immature. You break up with Ethan, and you bring your drama to work?" I dried my hands and looked at her. Chloe was definitely prettier than me. But this was work, and my home turf. I looked at her calmly. "If you don't want to ruin the project, do your job, and don't take credit for mine." She just wanted to make herself look good in front of Justin. Chloe agreed with a nod, but brought it up again at lunch. "Sarah, aren't you supposed to be getting married soon with Ethan? Can't you just stop acting out?" She acted annoyed with me. Like I was the one making a scene. Justin looked up at us. I gripped my fork hard and said, "We broke up." Chloe seemed shocked that I'd be so calm. She loved bringing up Ethan, enjoying seeing my hurt. But this time, I was the one who decided to move on. "Sarah," Justin said, "are you free to come with me this afternoon? We need to verify some project stuff with the branch, and you're the main expert on it." Chloe's response got cut off. I said, "Sure." Justin gave Chloe a look. "You're gonna stay here and coordinate with the marketing team." It was the weirdest feeling. Whenever Chloe'd say something catty, Ethan would tell me to just let it go, and not start anything with her. "Chloe is younger than you. She just doesn't know better. She doesn't mean to upset you. Just let it go." "Younger? By like a week?" I got used to ignoring all of her snide remarks. I worked so hard, writing and rewriting proposals, because I wanted to show her up. That was how I became the main planner, and she was still a team member. I couldn't believe that Justin, whom I'd known for just a month, would stand up for me like that. After I got back from the client's branch with Justin, he dropped me off and stopped at our office to pick up my charger. As I walked out of the building, someone ran up to me. "Sarah, will you stop with this nonsense?" I was shocked to see it was Ethan. "You've been doing this for a month. Can't you just let it go now?" He was trying to be cool. "My parents are coming next week. We need to sort out the engagement." I looked at him flatly. "I'm not acting out. Ethan, we broke up." He stopped and after a second he said, "Sarah, you were the one who was begging me to date you. Now, over some tiny thing, you just want to break up? Should I wait till we're married and watch you chase after your soulmate?" Looking at Ethan now, with no love in my heart, I only felt disgusted. "Sarah," Justin said as he pulled up to the curb, not even looking at Ethan, "did you get your charger?" Before I could answer, Ethan said with a shocked expression, "Okay, you. So you're just running off with some other guy, right after you break up with me? Have you no shame?" Honestly, Ethan was a good-looking guy. I wouldn't have fallen for him if he weren't. But now, he just seemed like an ugly, pathetic man. I blushed. "Stop saying all these things." "What am I saying? You're not some." Before he could finish the sentence, Justin grabbed my wrist. It felt warm where his fingers were, on my skin. "You got it wrong," he said to Ethan. "I'm the one that's been trying to win Sarah over." His words made the air around me feel lighter. I could hear my heart beating faster. It was a familiar feeling. During orientation, I passed out in the heat. Ethan picked me up and rushed me to the school clinic and checked on me a few times. After school started, we had lunch, went to the library, and even visited that hot springs town I'd always wanted to see. But just as my feelings for him grew stronger, he grew cold. Later I found out that he had met Chloe in the gym. After that, I became his backup, his second choice. I did get attention from guys in school. But Ethan always told me that I was just average looking, and that those guys weren't into me for the right reasons. Looking back, he probably was just trying to keep me around. I couldn't figure out why anyone would break up with a girl like Sarah. Justin looked at Ethan, smiling a little. "Now I get it. Some animals don't appreciate the beauty of humans. Thank you for breaking up with her, so I can try." After we got in Justin's car, I peeked out the window. Just a few steps away, Chloe was standing there, looking furious. I figured out why Ethan suddenly wanted us back together. That little minx probably put him up to it. "Thank you for having my back," I said. "Don't mention it." He paused. "Sarah, I wasn't just helping you out back there. I meant what I said." He sounded so sincere. And I felt so confused. We'd been spending so much time together, and I couldn't deny my growing feelings. But I kept telling myself that my plan had not been innocent. No need to rush me with an answer, just take the time you need, I'll wait for it." Justin pulled over and gently put his hand on my hair. "It's getting late, let's get some dinner." We had dinner at a place that had skewers. Justin ordered a medium spicy one, and his nose got red, and his skin turned pink. I got 2 iced soy milks from the cooler, and as I walked back, I saw Justin looking at his phone with an angry expression. I put the drinks down and asked, "What's going on?" When I saw the screen, I almost dropped it. Chloe had posted on her social media. It was some post someone had made about me on the school's gossip page about how I had chased after Ethan. "Girls should have a little more self-respect, don't be so desperate. No one will like you for it, they will think you have no self-worth." Then she posted 2 photos. One was from the cafeteria. Ethan was at the table eating lunch, and I was looking at him, eyes full of love. The other one was of flowers I'd given him, but he'd thrown it in the trash. I'd asked him later, and he just said they were dead, why would I keep them? Later, Chloe got a plant she didn't want, and Ethan took care of it and got mad at me when I broke off some of the leaves. When that post came out, I felt so embarrassed, and I almost gave up on Ethan. But he was the one who told the page to take it down, and he bought me dinner and those flowers. It was the first time I got roses. Much later, I found out that those flowers were meant for Chloe, but he never gave them to her. Seeing the photos now, all of those memories made me feel like I was gonna pass out. Chloe had added a comment. "Just saying that I can't believe someone could be a simp for my simp. It's like she has no pride. And she wants to get with someone new. I just don't want anyone to fall for her trick." I knew she was talking about Justin. He had said he was going to try to win me over. She was losing it. "Don't worry about it." Justin spoke in a way that calmed me down. "This is not cool, she will take it down." I bit my lip, "I know, but she's posting it for you." Justin shrugged, "She's posting this for me? Then it's useless. You had the bad luck of falling for a loser who couldn't appreciate you. That's on him, not you." It was weird how his words calmed me down. "Sarah, this will not change how I feel about you." Justin added, "Actually, we met a while ago." I looked surprised. He reminded me, 2 years ago at State's recruitment fair, I saw you there. You listened to the presentation and gave us a resume. But I wanted to talk to you, but you were gone. I remember that. Springdale was one of the companies I wanted to work for. But I'd called Ethan and told him to get there, and he was too busy with an errand that I had to take care of. He sounded so urgent, so I had to miss the on-the-spot interview. When I got there, the errand was that he wanted a drink from the new bubble tea place that just opened. I waited in line for 3 hours, just to get him one. That night, that drink ended up with Chloe. She even posted about it on her story. No waiting in line for me, so blessed. I'm so happy. Hee hee. After you left, I looked at your resume, and I saw how great you were, and I wanted to give you an offer, and then I called and you said you were going to work where your boyfriend worked, and you turned me down. Justin laughed, a little frustrated. His resume was bad, there was no way he was gonna pass the first round. And that was it. Ethan was not the best student, but he was good-looking, but out in the real world, that didn't really mean anything. I said, thank you so much. My college life was boring, spent trying to get Ethan to see me, and working hard at school. I did well in my classes, got all the scholarships, and won a lot of awards. It made me into the person that I was now. But I was trapped in an unfulfilling relationship and I couldn't see it. Ethan was always telling me that I was average looking, and my personality was not the best, and he'd say that the only reason he was with me was because I made good money. When Ethan was drunk, he told me that his parents could not afford a down payment for a house, so we could never start a family in that town. I held him tight and promised, don't worry, I'll be the one to buy our house. Now Justin was telling me that I was great. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough, but that no matter how good I was, Ethan would always pick Chloe. I felt a part of me thaw out. The next morning, Justin came to pick me up. Ashley went with us, and she got his breakfast. And when we got to the office, she texted, Sarah, that guy is a million times better than that loser Ethan. Don't even try to deny it, girl. I can see how he looks at you. Just know that I expect you to invite me to the wedding next year. I closed out the chat. Since Justin told me how he felt, he had become more forward. Picking me up, ordering me lunch, and liking every post I made. One day, when I forgot my pain meds, I texted him, and in 20 minutes a delivery guy was there. Justin didn't hide how he felt about me, and my boss even talked to me, to make sure we weren't doing anything improper. He laughed and said, Justin is Springdale's youngest lead. Sarah, don't let him go. That weekend was the school's 80th reunion. Justin and I went back. Standing by the pool, and taking pictures with some of the younger students, all of the memories came back. Justin stood right beside me. He was thoughtful, not like Ethan, who just tried to make me feel small. I couldn't help but think, what if I had met Justin first? I wouldn't have spent 4 years chasing after a guy that didn't want me. Right then, I realized that I loved Justin. I put the school pin on my shirt, and I asked, how do you know Chloe? After she posted about me, she took it down. Then she looked at me angrily. When I asked Justin about it, he said that she didn't like the answer he gave, and she tried to reach him again. He told her what he had told me and blocked her. Chloe? Justin looked surprised. When you guys were freshmen, she came to join the student committee and I was in charge of the interview. But she liked you, can you tell? Justin paused. She told me, more than once, but I said no, and I made myself clear. Justin looked at me and smiled. I told her that I don't go for that type. I could feel my heart beating faster. He leaned in. Sarah, I like you. I went home feeling so happy. When I got home, Ethan had called me. Sarah, next weekend, you'll be free, right? He seemed so sure. I know a great place for Cantonese food, we should have lunch. Ethan, I've made myself clear. I took a breath and calmed down, we're over. Sarah, I was wrong. Ethan's voice was soft, I didn't understand how you felt, but Sarah, I love you. We've been together so long, can you just let it go? When he used to talk to me like that, I'd give in, but now, it sounded so stupid. Did he think I was stupid? That I would take him back after everything? Ethan, I don't love you, I hate you. I'm annoyed every time I see you. Then I added, and I love spicy food, I hate Cantonese. I hung up and threw the phone on the bed. And I realized that Ethan didn't really affect me. I couldn't even remember what he said. I was thinking about Justin. Then, Justin called. Sarah. Yes? Are you free? Can you come out? Why? I'm downstairs. We're gonna get some late night food. He added, don't worry about makeup, just come down. There was a night market near my apartment. When I got downstairs, I saw Justin. He looked so good. I ran up to him and looked at him. He smiled, let's go. Tofu, squid, fried food, Justin bought it all. And we sat at a table with 2 colas. I grabbed a napkin, I have not eaten this much in a long time. Ethan used to complain about my weight, so I never ate dinner. It's okay. Eat. Justin smiled and pushed a plate toward me. I saw you didn't eat much for dinner, so I figured you were hungry. I was shy, but he just laughed. Eat, you're not fat. I finally asked Justin, why do you like me? Because you're a beautiful and successful girl. Justin looked at me. Sarah, when I saw you at the recruitment fair, I was interested. I read your resume. I had not seen you again. And now we're working together. He paused. You're amazing, why wouldn't I like you? I put the drink against my cheek. Justin looked at me in a soft and warm way. So Sarah, what do you say? Should you get with this guy? The smoke from the barbecue swirled around us. I tried to control my heart and I nodded okay. After I got home, I saw that Justin's profile pic was changed to someone else. I looked at my phone and laughed. A few days later, it was Valentine's Day. I was working on a project when Ashley texted me, have you heard? What? Ethan's company is laying off staff and he was one of them. They said his work was always not up to par. She sent me a laughing emoji. Serves him right. I was surprisingly calm. I didn't really care about what was going on with Ethan anymore. He never really worked at that place. He only cared about me paying his bills. He deserved to get fired. Last year, when Ethan's company had to finish a big project, Chloe wanted a Christmas gift bag from this one company. So he called in sick and waited in line all afternoon. When he tried to pay, the boss's wife was in line and told their boss about it. Ever since then, their boss has always had a bad impression of him. Ashley and I talked a little more and then we got back to work. But then after work, I saw Chloe in the parking lot. She didn't see me and was on the phone. Give them back to you? These are gifts. Why would I do that? Then she yelled, Ethan, I thought you were a good person. You're so cheap. If you wanted them back, why did you give them to me? You got fired and it's not my fault. Don't call me again. She hung up and turned around and her face fell. Sarah? You went after Justin because I liked him, right? Ethan likes me and you just wanted to hurt me. I said you should give back the gifts. It's not worth it, you know. She was so arrogant. She had so many guys, she didn't care about the gifts. But I found out that Ethan had taken out a big loan to get Chloe gifts. He couldn't pay back the loan, and Chloe wouldn't give back the gifts. So he waited for her by the building. And in front of everyone, he asked her for the bag. Chloe was so mad that she dumped everything out and threw the bag at him and yelled, Here you go. Ethan grabbed it and pleaded, Don't be mad. I'll pay back the loan, and when I get another job, I will buy you something even better. He'd do anything to have her back. Chloe said, "Get out of here." I was sitting in the car with Justin. I said, "How did I ever love him?" Justin smiled and put his hand on my head. "You were young and foolish. It's a good thing you figured things out. It's never too late." That day, we told everyone that we were together. We posted a picture at the hot pot place. After that, I said, "Actually, when I first tried to get close to you, was because Chloe liked me." Justin smiled. "Chloe told me about that. But it's fine. I was so glad that you talked to me. It gave me the chance to know you and date you." I looked at Justin and just kissed him. Even if things didn't start in a romantic way, we had a very romantic ending.